Well, good afternoon, everyone. My job today is to welcome you all here. Thank you for coming. Quite an impressive group over here to my left. This is a momentous day for us to have the governor and the Seneca Nation here in Salamanca together. I also here with my colleague Andy Goodell from the 150th Assembly District, and it is my honor to introduce our Senator Kathy Young.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is so exciting to be here today, and I'm especially pleased to welcome Governor Cuomo to Western New York. He's a true friend and an advocate for our region. And I also sincerely thank President Barry Snyder, the Tribal Council, for your hospitality, and I know that you also welcome Governor Cuomo here today in Salamanca. This is such a great day for Salamanca in so many ways. I don't know if you know this, but it was 35 years ago in July that the last governor was here, and that was Governor Hugh Carey, and he came for a groundbreaking on Route 17, which is now Interstate 86. And during his visit, he was able to drive a bulldozer. So, Governor, I'm sorry we don't have a bulldozer here for you today. Maybe you need a Brinks armored car before you leave, but it is great that we have that history here. I'd like to acknowledge some of the elected officials who are here. You already saw Assemblyman Joe Giglio. Assemblyman Andy Goodell is here, welcome, who also represents part of the Seneca Nation. We have Cattaraugus County Legislature Chairman Norman Marsh, members of the Cattaraugus County Legislature. Sheriff Timothy Whitcomb is here. Mayor Vecchiarella, of course, from the City of Salamanca, and also we welcome Mayor Linda Witt from the City of Olean. You know, our community here has seen many challenges over the years. Declining property values have been a burden to local governments, and a diminishing population has not helped our tax revenues. And until recently, we have seen years of decline and serious disagreements between the Seneca Nation of Indians and New York State. Governor Cuomo has broken through the years of conflicts between the nation and the state to bring an amicable solution for both sides. And I want to thank the governor for his strong leadership to resolve these issues. Just like he's done in Albany, he has brought people together in Western New York to deliver results. I also want to say a special thank you to President Barry Snyder and the Tribal Council for working together with the state, because I know that you realize this is so positive for everyone, and especially President Snyder. Thank you for your 50 years of service to the people of the Seneca Nation through Seneca government. We truly appreciate all that you do and all that the Tribal Council does. From my perspective, this is so positive for the people who I serve, for my community, the county, the school district, and the Seneca Nation. And it has been a very difficult time. And that's why today is such a fantastic day, because we are moving beyond the conflicts. By working together under Governor Cuomo's leadership and also with President Snyder and the Tribal Council, we truly have a new day in Salamanca. So without further delay, it is my honor to introduce Seneca President Barry Snyder, Jr.
Yeah, am I that far away? Maybe. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm fine. Okay. You know, it's funny because I've been rode down with the governor today. We came down from Buffalo. First stop was Niagara. Down, it feels like I'm on a political campaign down here, and they're going to stop me in here every place we go. But you know, it's like home here down in the Allegheny Mountains in the city of Salamanca. But I guess I always start with saying Yahweh Scano, and again from the Seneca Nation people, the government, all represented here on behalf of the Tribal Council also. I've got some tribal councilors here. I know we were moving fast this morning, and I'm pretty sure we might have left them up in Niagara. Can they stand up, please? Oh, they're here. Okay, they're here. They made it. All right. Darlene Miller, Tina Abrams, right here. You must have made it. You must have drove real fast. You have an escort? Okay, that's good. Okay. I'm happy to be here today with the Governor, Andrew Cuomo, and my friend, Mayor Carmen Beccarelli, and all of the special guests today. In 2002, the Seneca Nation signed a gaming compact with the state of New York under the Federal Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. The historic compact required the nation and the state to cooperate in the establishment of 3 Class 3 gaming casino facilities. We have been very successful in building our part. We have a billion-dollar gaming business right now in Western New York with our Seneca Niagara, Seneca Allegheny, and I had to give a plug, the newly expanded Seneca Buffalo Creek, which is scheduled to open the latter part of August. In the process, we have created thousands of jobs for Senecas and non-Senecas alike, and have become an important business partner for several local companies, hereby supporting thousands of additional jobs in the local economy. On behalf of the Seneca Nation, we appreciate the Governor's continued commitment to the economic revitalization of the Western New York and recognizing the Seneca Nation's gaming enterprises as an important component for continuation of our region's growth and transformation. I stand here committed to uphold the terms of our agreement, protect my nation's sovereignty rights, and continue to grow our gaming business and contribute needed revenue for our host cities, especially the City of Salamanca, located in our home territory of Allegheny. Again, I would like to personally thank Governor Cuomo for his leadership in helping resolve this dispute and making our host cities whole once again. As you mentioned, 50 years I've been involved with the Seneca Nation, and I've been here as a member of the Seneca Nation. I stand before you today as the president of the Seneca Nation, of this great nation, as a leader. But as a nation, we have overcome great adversities and have rejoiced in many successes. We've had conflicts, debates, but in the end, we work together to move forward our future as one. With that said, Governor Cuomo, it's my pleasure to present you this check from the Seneca Nation of Indians for 300, whoops, excuse me, that's a little more like that. Whoop. Wash my mouth. Wait, wash my mouth. That was your cut. I mean, the other part is $349,650,000 to include the host sites distribution as our commitment to growth and progress throughout Seneca country, Western New York, and the state of New York. Yahweh, Governor, many thank you with a check.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that is a big check, wouldn't you say? Another round of applause for President Snyder. I'm going to take the check, and I'll be going on vacation now to an undisclosed location. I will send a postcard. It's truly my pleasure to be here, and let me begin by thanking President Snyder and the Tribal Council and all the people of the Seneca Nation. You know, I worked in the federal government for 8 years, and I had the opportunity in that position to really work with the Native Americans across this country. And it was an education for me to learn about their history and their heritage and their culture and their contribution to this country. The Senecas are a great nation. They're one of the 6 nations that we have in the state of New York, largest of the 6 Native American tribes, most western tribe, the Senecas. Great history, great culture. They were a democratic government before the United States was even formed. So when it comes to history and being first, they really were the first in so many ways. So I have tremendous respect for their culture and their heritage and appreciation for what they do for the state today. It's not just the history. It's also the present. It's also the future. 5th largest employer in Western New York is the Seneca Nation. So we respect, Mr. President, your history. We appreciate the partnership, and we appreciate your professionalism and your sensitivity and your vision in resolving this dispute and moving forwards. Again, Mr. President, Seneca Nation. To Mayor Vecchiarella and the leaders of Salamanca, we know that you've had a very difficult few years. We know that it was even more difficult because of the loss of revenue from the casino. You know, the city had planned on that revenue, and they had budgeted that revenue, and it's a lot of money for the city of Salamanca. And when that didn't happen, when that revenue didn't come through, it was a true crisis. The crises are when we really test people and we find out what they're made of. And Mayor Vecchiarella stepped up to the challenge and led the city through with the leadership of the city leaders. And we applaud you, sir. Mayor Vecchiarella, congratulations and thank you for what you've done. My partners, my colleagues from Albany, Senator Kathy Young, let's give her a round of applause. Assemblyman Joe Giglio, pleasure to be with you, Joe. And Assemblyman Andy Goodell, pleasure to be with you, Andy. I wanted to come out and personally get the check so the legislature didn't get their hands on it, so I'm going to be taking the check back with me. But I want to thank the senator and the assemblyman for a very productive legislative session. We just concluded in June our 6 months of our legislative session, and we got a lot of good work done, as we have for the past couple of years. I've been governor for about 2 years, and we had a conversation when I started where we basically said, you know, we have to change the direction of the state, and we have to make the state government work once again. And maybe we're Democrats and we're Republicans and we have our political differences, but we're New Yorkers first, and let's put that first and up front. And we acted like New Yorkers, and let's leave the politics at the door. And we've done that. And we put the interest of the people of this state above politics. And you see a lot of other governments, there's gridlock, and they're not getting things done, and they're pointing fingers, and we're moving forward. And I want to applaud the Senate and the Assembly, and Kathy and Joe and Andy, really, for their partnership and their professionalism in doing what they do. Let's give them a round of applause. Today is pretty much self-explanatory, and you heard it from the senator and you heard it from the president. The Western New York has had a rough time economically. It's not just about the past few years. It's decades of economic transformation. I was in Buffalo a few weeks ago, and somebody in Buffalo said, tongue-in-cheek, you know, Western New York has had a bad economy for the past 50 years. It has been a rough economic transformation, really, since the manufacturing era stopped. Upstate New York, by and large, has been trying to find its footing in the new economy, and it's been hard. It was then made worse because the state government was so dysfunctional. And you look at the regions, the part of the countries that were successful in doing the economic transformation, they're the parts of the country where the private sector worked with government hand in glove, and they both performed well. And we had a state government that for many, many years was a joke, to use a technical term. I mean, I remember watching it on TV. I remember the annual ritual of getting a budget done. Remember the stories on the state trying to get a budget? Every year was the same story. State's supposed to have a budget done by April 1. So the news reporters would start the week before April 1. Is the state going to have a budget on time this year? Are they going to get it done? And they'd have all these news stories, and then it would become the night before. Is the state going to get the budget done? And they'd have all these interviews. And then invariably, the state would not get the budget done. And then it would be 1 day late, 1 week late, 1 month late, the latest budget in history. And it was so frustrating and annoying that your government can't even get the budget done. I mean, a basic function that you would expect them to be able to perform. And it was that way all across the board. That's what we changed. And it's not just today, but you've seen over the past few years, there is a different trajectory for this state. We're getting our budgets done. We have a real economic plan. We've gotten taxes under control. And we're cutting taxes. We're not increasing taxes. We understand that we have to get businesses here, and it's about jobs, 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 because the best thing we can do is get that economy running. If we get the economy running, then the mayor will take care of Salamanca, the county executive will take care of the county, and people will have a career and they'll take care of their own families. And that's been our focus. And we also understand that we have to change this state's reputation and change this state's reality, because you can't be the tax capital of the nation and expect you're going to have a successful economy. And that's why everything is about cutting expenses, limiting spending, and bringing jobs back to New York. And we have made progress. And today is emblematic of the progress. This was a 4-year dispute between the state and the Seneca Nation. So for 4 years, there were no payments coming from the Seneca Nation. So Salamanca, that was reliant on the payments, Niagara Falls, that was reliant on the payments, for 4 years had no recourse. The state lost hundreds of millions of dollars in the process. And the state couldn't figure out how to solve it. And it went on month after month after month after month. We believe in professionalizing the state government, making it work, making it function, and that's what today is about. You have differences, fine. Resolve the differences. Because just fighting makes the lawyers rich. Meanwhile, people in this state were suffering. And that's what this agreement is all about today. And we have some young people who are with us today, and that's the other point that this agreement is all about. That what government is, fundamentally, the fundamental purpose of government is to make this place, to make this community, to make our home the best home that we can make. And to leave this place a little bit better than the place that we grew up. Because this is going to be your home. And we want you to stay here. We want you to be New Yorkers, and we want you to stay right here at home, where we are. And we want you to grow up with us and start families of your own here with us. So we know that we have to make this place better than it is today. And there is nothing that we won't do for you. Everyone, fundamentally at the end of the day, every parent, every citizen, every aunt, every uncle has the same feeling. To make this place as good as we can make it for the children who are going to inherit it. For my daughters, for the daughters and sons of every person in this room. And there's nothing we won't do. And today is part of that. We're going to resolve our differences. We're going to get to work to make sure this state works for you. So thank you for being here. Mr. President, thank you. And I have my own presentation to make to you, Mr. Mayor. Don't worry about that, Carmen.
You got that.
We have for the City of Salamanca a check in the amount of $34,500,000. The state will deduct a small administrative handling fee on the check, about 10%. And congratulations to the City of Salamanca. I know it's been a long time coming. I know it was hard, but you did it, and today is a new day and a better day. Congratulations to all.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. I want to welcome everybody that's here. I want to thank everybody for coming. Our governor and President Snyder, who have both been friends of mine before they were in these positions, but we don't want to give out their ages. They keep talking 50 years. I'm not talking that stuff. Also, Joe Giglio, Kathy Young, who I worked with hand in hand as a legislator, and Mr. Goodell. On behalf of the City of Salamanca, I want a big thank you to Governor Cuomo for being here today, and even a bigger thank you for our leadership and the vital importance of this issue. This deal truly is a lifesaver for our city.
which we all know you can tell by the streets and roads we've had problems for the last few years. For years, with the Seneca Nation and state went back and forth with this dispute, Salamanca was caught in the middle, and the results were devastating. As a result of a severe budget shortages, we had to make major cuts in vital services that we provide to our residents, cuts in education, youth programs, and dozens of workers were laid off. When Governor Cuomo took office, he made a pledge to Western New York that the state of New York would make progress in this issue and other issues facing our regions. And since that day, he has truly delivered. The Seneca Agreement is the single best piece of news our city has received in years. And with these two leaders, I knew that this would be resolved. My predicament to anybody in the city was within 6 months we'd have this resolved. Most people didn't believe it, but they have to believe it now. $35 million is a huge sum of money for our city. It means our city can regain solid financial footing. It will allow us to help give our children a decent, quality education. It will help us rebuild our crumbling roads and make long overdue repairs of our infrastructure. To make this agreement happen, it took a governor that truly cared about our region and about Salamanca. On behalf of all our residents, we thank the governor. We also thank President Snyder for the work they have done here that has truly helped save our city. And also, as long as I got all the authoritative politicians here, our friends, we are definitely putting in for a grant to access some roads, 200 acres that we bought. And so any help that anybody gives us, we would appreciate that. Before I close, I would like to recognize my council back there, who is the team that's been with me, and they've truly stood right with us in working with the Seneca Nation hand in hand. And I believe this will be the best two administrations the nation and city has seen in a long time. Thank you, and God bless you.
I want to thank everybody for coming. I just want to point one thing out, that over the years that we did have the dispute, that this governor's administration advanced us $2.5 million 3 times. That kept Salamanca going. We were the only city in the state to receive that kind of help because we needed it, and my heartfelt thanks to you for doing that. And again, thanks everybody for coming today. Thank you, the members of the nation. Thank you, the members of the press. Thank you, young men and women. And we have now concluded. Safe home.